Assalamualaikum and very good evening to Sir Hafiz and my fellow classmates. My name is Nurul Syafika Binti Zahidi. Today, my friends and I will present about good and evil, the eternal battle from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So, good and evil, the eternal battle means the conflict or the tension occurred between the good and evil characters in the movie and in the text version of the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So, the first battle between good and evil characters is Harry Potter versus Dursley. We can see, in the movie, we can see young Harry who is living with his aunt Petunia and Uncle Vernon and their son Dudley. So, they make Harry's life miserable, treat him very badly, and they keep him almost like a prisoner. Harry live in a small wardrobe under the stairs. He is not allowed to talk to the neighbors and leave the house without their permission. Auntie Petunia always asked Harry to do the house chores, and Dudley always bullied him. They also lied about how Harry's parents died. Letters for Harry subsequently arrived each day in increasing numbers, but Uncle Vernon decided to tear them all up. And the Dursley even moved to the miserable little shack located in the middle of the sea to avoid from receiving invitation letters from Hogwarts. So this is how Harry Potter and the battle between Harry Potter and the Dursley family. The second battle between good and evil character is Harry Potter versus Draco Malfoy. Draco Malfoy is an arrogant student and Harry's rival. Malfoy, whose name translates roughly to Dragon of Bad Faith. So as the story progresses, there is a hint that Malfoy may grow up to become another Voldemort. In the movie, Malfoy challenged Harry to fly to the roof to get back Neville's belongings, and Harry took the challenge even though he doesn't know how to fly. And this incident also has made Harry chosen as a new seeker for the Quidditch game. Malfoy also follows Harry, Ron, and Hermione to Hagrid's house and peeking through the window, but he gets caught by Hagrid. Then Malfoy reported to Professor McGonagall since they are not allowed to walk at night, and as a result, 50 points were taken from each of them, and they received detention as a punishment. So this incident has made Malfoy be dissatisfied since his intention was to report report the wrongdoings of Harry, Ron, and Hermione, but at the end he need to receive the detention too. So that's all from me. Now let's move to the next presenter, Mawaddah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mawaddah Binti. I will present about good and evil, the internal battle. So this slide is regarding the Quidditch battle between Gryffindor and Slytherin. So the objective of both teams is they want to win this game to add the points to their house points and making their house become a winner to gain the house cup. So this is the official Quidditch match that were played by the Harry Potter in this movie. So Professor Muggle see Harry potential during the flying lesson and recommend Harry to become the new seeker for the Gryffindor because he's very skillful during his first lesson. So Professor Muggle saw Harry potential in this. During the battle, Cedric Kertika captain Marcus Flynn play very dirty and rough game throughout the smash, making Cedric gains points. Discuss that Gryffindor lost some points due to the dirty play. So the climax for this scene is Harry was thrown off his broom and left dangling with just only one hand from falling. at the high from the high place, yeah. So among the stand, that Harmony noticed that Sirius shapes was like muttering something that is in Initians. That Harmony thought that the Initian caused Harry to unbalance and to not to make Harry fall, but it's not. So America want to stop Snap from material attention and knocking the Professor Quirrell in the process. So she casts blue flame into his clothes. So this may cause Henry to straightway drop down into the ground and like cough something like he very sick or something like that, and Harry cuts the snitch by using his mouth. So his capture of the golden snitch ended the match and making Gryffindor won. So anyone who catch the golden snitch will get 150 points. So this is winning Gryffindor to the match 170 to 60. So the school year ends with the final feast, which Gryffindor wins the house cup. The difference between this scene is Dumbledore do not attend the countering match in the book, but he attended in the movie. For the second slide of the internal battle, the Severus Snape versus with Professor Quirrell. So in this slide, the introduction to this scene is Harry received an invisible clause from the amused person. So using this invisible clause, Harry searched for the Philosophy Stone during at night at his school and stumbled upon that Sirius Snape was like smashing Professor Cloud into the wall and give warning to the Professor Quirrell. Harry did not know the reason that why Sirius Snape giving warning to the Professor Quirrell. It's because that it's not Snape that, but instead Quirrell that trying to sabotage Harry room. So that the reason that he failed to make Harry hurt is because Snape have muttering counter cost for the Professor Quirrell attachment. On the last scene, it was revealed that Dumbledore who sent Harry the invisible clause.
Thank you, Mawaddah, for explaining. So now let's move on into the next battle. So the next battle is between Harry Potter and Professor Quirrell. So Professor Quirrell, he is the new defense against the dark arts teacher in Hogwarts. He's that kind of teacher who wears a turban and stutters when he speaks, but you know, underneath that turban there is actually a deep dark secret, which is the Dark Voldemort himself. So the Dark Lord is actually living in Quirrell's turban, like, you know, like a parasite. So basically Professor Quirrell is the host and Lord Voldemort is the parasite. And in the scene, the battle took place in the Hogwarts dungeons when Lord Voldemort uses Professor Quirrell to steal the Philosopher's Stone from Harry Potter. So when Harry told Professor Quirrell that Snape tried to kill him during the Quidditch match, but then Professor Quirrell confesses that actually it was him who tried to kill Harry Potter, and in this scene also he tried to kill Harry again for the second time. And he want to kill Harry because Harry refused to give the Philosopher's Stone to him, and Voldemort tried to incite Harry Potter that if he gives the stone, he can bring Harry's parents back, but Harry refused to trust him, and then Voldemort asked Professor Quirrell to kill Harry Potter. Then Professor Quirrell pushed and strangled Harry, but then Harry successfully defeated him. When Harry touches Professor Quirrell's hand and face, it suddenly burns, and Professor Quirrell just turns into like a stone and a dust, then just vanishes from sight. Meanwhile, Lord Voldemort, he just turns into smoke, and when he like hits Harry's body, he just passes out. But you know the most important thing, that Harry is safe and successfully defeats Professor Quirrell. So in the scene, the good wins and the evil loses. Alright, let's move on to the source of good in the Harry Potter's movie and text. So the first one is Professor Dumbledore, which is the headmaster of Hogwarts and described as the most powerful and good wizard in this book. And you know, he is basically the exact opposite of the evil Lord Voldemort. So in this movie and text, it can be seen that Professor Dumbledore is especially kind to Harry, and he's looking out for him in the ways that a family would do. So from the movie, we can actually find out that he's the one who gave Harry his father invisibility cloak that Professor Dumbledore had borrowed from him before Harry Potter's father's death. He's also the one who gives Harry Potter such good advice about both the mirror of Arisah and, you know, urge Harry to maintain his grasp on reality rather than, you know, a world of dreams and desires. And in addition, as you can see in the stack, when Harry said, "Sir Professor Dumbledore, can I ask you something?" And Professor Dumbledore said, "Obviously, you have just done so. You may ask one more thing, however." He also, you know, encouraged Harry to question and learn, but also cautions him that some kinds of knowledge must be growing. So after all, he is such a powerful person, you know, in terms of the both magic he knows and also the advice he gives to everyone, also Harry. So yeah, that's all from me, and Aisyah will explain more about the source of good in both movies and text. Thank you.
Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aisyah Nadhirah Binti Mustaffa Kamal, and now let's look at another sources of good that we can see from both movies and the text of the Harry Potter the Philosopher's Stone. So we can see the good from the characters Hermione and Ron Weasley. Both of these characters contribute a lot to the most part of the storyline, and mainly they are close friends to Harry, mainly because they are from the same house, which is Gryffindor. And let's look at the first character, Ronald Weasley. He is perceived as clumsy inside the movie, but actually he has a very nice heart, and he is always kind towards his friends, and he showed his friendliness even during his first meeting with Harry on the platform with the Weasley family, with the Weasley's family, and inside the train, that's how they started to become friends. So other than that, there are scenes that proven uh, Ron to be a good character, where when Malfoy said hurtful things towards Harry, said bad things, and trying to pick a fight with Harry, Ron is the character that is always brave enough to stand by Harry's side all the time to protect him. And also there are scenes when Malfoy make fun of Harry and his dead parents. Yeah, and um, Ron always protected Harry. And apart from that, we can see the good in Ron by the way how Harry put his trust on Ron, because he shared with Ron about the Mirror of Eris and also the Philosopher's Stone. So another scene that we can see that showed Ron goodness is when he advised Neville to stand up for himself when Malfoy bullied him. So he said to Neville, "You got to stand up to him, Neville." So he's a good character that wants the best for his friends. Next, we look at the character Hermione Granger. She is perceived as an intelligent witch born to non-magical Muggle parents. Muggle meaning that a normal human being with no magic. So Hermione is a smart student who is very strict to the Hogwarts rules at first, until one day when she was in danger, Harry and Ron helped her to escape from a troll, and since then that situation make her to become close with Harry and Ron. So following that scene, she started to follow Harry in his mission to retrieve the Philosopher's Stone, knowing that it is dangerous and against the rule, but because of the trust she has on Harry, she willing to help him. Know, know, Knowing that it is also for a good cause, because they didn't want the Philosopher's Stone to fall into wrong people's hand, because the stone is very powerful and they know about that. So that at that moment they thought that it was Professor Snape who wants the stone and probably use it for the wrong cause. So she willing to use her knowledge with magic, because she's good at the magic than both Harry and Ron. So she helped them in the situation where they need to use magic. So in the scene, we can see where Hermione said, of course not," said Hermione briskly. "How do you think you get the stone without us?" So here she indirectly say that she wants to help, because otherwise they couldn't get the stone without her help. And apart from that, during the Quidditch game, Hermione used her magic on Snape, because at that moment she thought that Snape was trying to hurt Harry. So she did that out of her good intention to help Harry. And although later she found out that it was Professor Quirrell who wants to hurt Harry. So that shows the goodness in Hermione Granger's character. And next, uh, in addition, we also have the characters Hagrid and Professor McGonagall, who are the sources of good from the movie and the text. So we've seen that from the beginning inside the movie, Hagrid was the one who brought the baby Harry to the Dursley house, and that scene shows that he uh, he is concerned about Harry's situation. Although that time also there was Professor Dumbledore and Professor McGonagall. So he was the one who bring the baby Harry to the Dursley house, and he was really sad and sobbing at the moment when they have to leave Harry there. So apart from that, Hagrid proved the goodness in him by helping Harry uh, on the before he gets to Hogwarts for the first time. So Hagrid was the one who who brought Harry into the witch world. So he helped Harry to go to the bank and take his money and buy the stuff that he needs for Hogwarts, since he will starting the school very soon. So because he doesn't have parents, so Hagrid he takes the responsibility of taking care of Harry at that moment. So, and Professor McGonagall, she shows her the goodness when she was worried about leaving Harry at the Dursley home, because she knows for a fact that the Muggles are not really nice Muggles. Because even before that, she has been keeping an eye on the Dursley family in the form of a cat. She turned into a cat when look she when she keep an eye on the Dursley family house to keep anonymous. And lastly, we can see the good coming from the Weasley family. This is very interesting. This happened on the train station when Harry was lost, and because he wasn't clear on where exactly is the 9.5 platform. So fortunately, he made the Weasleys at that moment, and she asked for their help, and the family kindly helped him and very friendly towards Harry. And here we can see uh, phrases said by Mrs. Weasley. When Harry asked her, she politely answered, "Hello, dear," she said. "First time at Hogwarts? Ron's new too," Mrs. Weasley said that. The way she speaks "hello, dear" is very polite and show the good side of the character. And also later we have the character George. She uh, George is the twin, Fred and George, the sons of the Mrs. and Mr. and Mrs. Weasley. So Harry was having trouble to get into the train with his stuff. So George asked him politely, "You want a hand?" It was simple, but it is a nice gesture, right? So yeah, that's how portray a good he portray goodness in this film. So to conclude this presentation, I would like to recall that in the movie, Harry Potter, the Philosopher's Stone, the evil comes from many characters: the Dursley, the Lord Voldemort, Professor Quirrell, Malfoy, and the Slytherin house. And there are also many good characters as well. Harry Potter, the main character himself, Professor Dumbledore, Professor McGonagall, Hagrid, and the Weasley family, and of course those close friends of Harry, Ron, and also Hermione. So I would like to know that there is also evil turning good as well. There is an evil turning good with the character Professor Snape, whom at the beginning of the story was perceived as an evil character, but later in the story it was told that he actually on the good side because it was all just misunderstanding on behalf of Harry Potter. So that's all from us. Thank you very much for your time.